Come Man Boxing, the baddest boxing channel in the UK. I'm here to do a reaction video of Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn that went down in London at the Tottenham Hotspurs Stadium. But it was Chris Eubank Jr. that was looking like Spurs in there in that ring on Saturday, the 15th of November. That brother just did not turn up. Do you know what I mean? Proper Spursy, didn't turn up in the big moments. He just wasn't there. He was just like a London bus. He just wasn't there. It was really bad to see. It was not a good look. The brother was less active than my Hotmail account. He just got in there, did nothing, absolutely nothing. A poor performance from Chris Eubank Jr. So should he retire? What do you people think? Let's run up the comments. Should Eubank Jr. just call it a day now, pipe and slippers and relax? Or do you want to see him come back like a boomerang for a trilogy or even more fights in the future? In the post-press conference, this brother said his words exactly. Regardless of the issues I've been dealing with, I thought my boxing skill would see me be able to beat Conor Benn as it did in the first fight. But you saw what I was tonight. I thought I would find something, but it just wasn't there. And after round one, I knew I was mistaken. That was his exact words post-fight. That sounds like a man that is done, a man that it should be sponsored by Fairy Liquid. It sounds like a man that is washed up. But he wouldn't be drawn into confirming his retirement. I personally think he should just call it a day now. He's chasing money fights rather than world titles. The Benn fight, it was a money fight. It was a fantasy fight. It's been great. 2 fun fights for the fans. But, he's not really even calling out world champions. Let's be honest now. He's just looking for money fights. And one thing, one fight he cannot win is with his baby mama. He's got 2 kids on the way, mad bills to pay, time to concentrate on the family. You can't win that fight. That'd be Miss Eubank Jr. by round 1 KO if you're not there doing bath time, the late nights, the nappies. You know what I mean? The last thing you need is to get bruck up at home. You know what I mean? And I think it's time to call it a day. But what do you guys think? Like, double jab the like button, throw a right hand down the pipe on it, and fire in your comments and let us know what you think. Should Eubank Jr. chase a trilogy fight? Should he jump up to 168, take on Canelo, or try and find that sort of fight? Or should he just, settle down now and go right off into the sunset? Let's just talk about the weight cut. Everyone's talked about the weight cut. He, in the press conference before this fight, Conor Benn and Eddie suggested that Eubank's soul had been taken in the first fight, and they were right. But it wasn't through the boxing that his soul was taken. It was on the scales that his soul was taken. The rehydration clause, the weight cut just clearly took, too much out of him. Took way too much out of him, and he was just unable to recover. And to do it a second time, it just left him looking like Skeletor in there. You know what I mean? It was some kind of Statue of Liberty type of boxing. You know what I mean? He just did not move. He just couldn't move. He looked slow in hand. He's looked slow in footwork, slow in hand and feet. He just really looked slow. I've never seen him look so slow. His footwork was just, he looked like he had speak and spell shoes on, to be honest with you. His feet, like he was boxing in Timberlands. You know what I mean? His feet were so slow. His combinations were usually blistering. Mate, nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. Looked like a guy that is absolutely spent. Let's get on to the age. He's 36. A lot of people saying, he's old now, he's done. But listen, in boxing, we've seen top athletes at 36 starting to excel, like people like Joe Calzaghe, Terence Crawford, Usyk, Tyson Fury, some of the best fighters are in the world and over history. Bernard Hopkins, people like that. They've boxed deep into their 30s. Bivol, Ben, Beterbiev, Beterbiev. So 36, is he old? Not really, but the lifestyle. He's got a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. He's in Vegas. He's in Dubai. He's got real estate. He's got businesses. He's playing poker with Neymar. Is he really, hungry? Do you know what I mean? Is he hungry? Has he got the appetite for destruction, or is he actually just old in body and thought? He doesn't need to do it. I've seen people saying that he lost deliberately online. People online saying he lost deliberately to make sure there's a trilogy fight and there'll be more on papers for him in the long run. But make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. Like your family's never lost to the Benns. Eubanks have never lost to the Benns. Why on earth would you ruin the legacy, pay 50 Cent, a wad of papers to walk you out in front of 60, 70,000 people in London to put on that shambolic performance and lose deliberately so you can get a trilogy? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But yeah, fire in the comments if you think I'm wrong. But I think that just would be ludicrous to go down that route. Absolutely ludicrous to go down that route. Do you want to see the trilogy? Let us know. Personally, I think it's done. And I interviewed Conor Benn after the fight, and he said, "Let's let it lie now. Let's just let it lie." He wants to go back down to 147. There's world title opportunities. I think he wants to chase that dream. He doesn't want to stay up at this weight any longer. I'll be very, very surprised personally if there's a trilogy fight to be made out of this, man. But having said that, if they can make a trilogy fight out of Yard and Lyndon Arthur, then you know what I mean. They can make a trilogy fight out of this. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens. But I don't want to see a trilogy fight. I don't want to see Eubank trying to chase Canelo at 168 and try and fool us all that it was just hydration and that he's still got something left. I think it was pretty evident that, he got smoked in there. You know what I mean? He got smoked like he's, Doc Cotton. You know what I mean? He got smoked, dropped twice heavily in the second round. The first one, he got dropped like Pat Butcher's earrings. You know what I mean? Dropped through the trap door. It looked like he got hit by a tranquilizer dart. And then the second knockdown, man, he just was getting clubbed. He just got clubbed to the floor. It just wasn't a good look. I hope he does the right thing. I hope he does retire. But again, let us know in the comments. Am I being harsh? Has he got more left? Is the Eubank train? Can it get out of platform 2 and start delivering and pushing on for major honors and bigger fights? Let me know in the comments. Double jab the like button, right hand down the pipe on the like button, share, comment. Gunman Boxing, the baddest boxing channel in the UK.